everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on a live video. And I have two special guests with me that are from California. My two nieces, Reina, who is coming from UC Davis. And then we have Rosa, and she is coming from Cal State University of Monterey Bay. And so they brought up some great questions when they were here, just typical questions. What can we do to make this new school year better? And that's really in regarding to health. And so with that being said, I wanted to leave it to them so they could ask these questions and I could go ahead and answer them. So then that way anyone on this feed can go ahead and benefit and share this video with someone that they might feel that can benefit from. So Rosa, you had your first question the other day in regards to feeling like you need to go ahead and wake up in the morning. So can you tell me, how again you phrase that question?
Yeah, so I wake up in the morning, I grab coffee, and lately I've noticed it hasn't been working, and I was just wondering what I can do to help get me up in the morning.
Great question. So I'm sure there's a lot of college students out there that are feeling just the same as Rosa. And so what I always recommend is in the morning what you can do, most college students forget about the beauty and simplicity of water. So just staying hydrated is one way to actually wake yourself up. So instead of going straight for the coffee, make sure you actually are going straight for the water and drink water. So that way you're revitalizing your cells and you can wake up. And the other thing that you can do is maybe when you're getting out of bed, you could either stretch around, so then that way you can, get yourself going. Or in addition to that, maybe do some quick exercises. Now there's a, very intense workout called high intensity interval training, HIIT. So that's always a possibility that you could do right after. That way you could bring up your cortisol levels. Or if you don't want to go that intense, because it's usually like a 4-minute workout, but it's going all the way to the very end, you could always just do maybe a couple of jumping jacks. And that way they get you up. The last thing in regards to, instead of a substitute, we could do a substitute for coffee, is green tea. It has great antioxidants, and yet it does have some caffeine if you really just can't part with the idea of caffeine, and overall a great alternative to coffee. Okay. And so what was your second question?
My second question was, so throughout the school year I noticed I always get sick because it's involves stress. So I was wondering what I can do to help improve my immune system.
So a nice way to do that is prevention, right? So a lot of college students, right around midterms or finals, that's when you guys are just feeling like so exhausted and you guys get sick, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I would recommend is doing a little bit of prevention before you get there. So during the time where you're going to be in a stressful situation, that midterm is coming up and it's kind of scary. So you can start already taking vitamin C because it is a great way to boost your immune system. Also an adaptogen. Adaptogens are herbs that help you adapt, hence the name adaptogen, to your surroundings, the environment. So that's where I would say maybe ashwagandha is a great alternative. So it's going to help out those adrenal glands, because those adrenal glands are the ones that are helping you get through that stressful situation. So that's one way to do it. Vitamin D. Everyone forgets about a little bit of sunshine, so making sure you go out there, get some sunshine. Great way to, go to the beach, right? And enjoy that beach. That way you're also boosting your immune system, because if you think about it, in the winter everyone's getting sick, right? And that's just because vitamin D is low. So making sure you're getting a good amount of vitamin D would be beneficial for them.
Another question I had was, being a college student and living on a college diet, we eat a lot of processed foods and we don't get very much nutrition. So I was wondering, what can we do to add to our nutrition?
So that is a great question. One of the things that I tend to see is that just malnourishment when I'm looking at labs for teenagers or individuals in college, because of the lifestyle. So one of the things you can do is add a good protein powder. And let me just show you a blender bottle that each of them I've gotten a blender bottle just because they're my nieces, so they get all kinds of fun stuff from me. And so I'm giving them each a blender bottle. That way they could go ahead and take this into class with them, put it in their backpack, and then also take, in a little baggie, some protein powder. That way they could easily have a quick shake. And most protein powders will have more than just protein. They have usually different vitamins and minerals just to kind of accompany and make it a little more nutritious. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. My last question I do have is that going class to class, I like to pack snacks. So what kind of snacks do you suggest I pack?
Great question. So I know Reina was also mentioning this yesterday too. She's like, what are the snacks that I can have, right? And so who doesn't like beef jerky, right? And so, beef jerky is a great way, gets you a nice amount of protein. And there's different options. I know yesterday we were having some turkey jerky, right? So that was also a great option. But there's various options out there. I would probably stay away from those beef jerkies that are extremely high in sodium. And so just really read the content of the jerky and the quality of the jerky. If you have one of those moms that is great about sending care packages and she likes doing things from scratch, then I would recommend maybe hydrating some jerky for your children and sending that off in a care package. So that's always a great snack. A couple other things, you had mentioned that you like to sometimes take some fruit in your backpack from the cafeteria, right, in the dorm?
Yeah.
And so that's a great alternative to also throw it into your backpack. But I would say I would want to have you accompany that with some nuts and seeds, because I want to make sure your blood sugar is pretty level and stable, because that's going to also prevent you from feeling as hungry as quickly and then turning to those Ho-Hos or Twinkies when you shouldn't be having those, because that in itself is going to decrease also your immune system. So taking maybe some fruits, some nuts and seeds, throwing that in a backpack, jerky, those are great alternatives to some snacks. And then just to kind of wrap this up, because I know you guys have a lot this afternoon to do, I just want to reiterate a few of the things that we discussed. So in all reality, supplements that you should be thinking about, I always would say then vitamin C for, those college students, making sure they have ample amounts of vitamin C. That way, if they're getting sick or they're going to go into midterm, they can depend on that. If they are feeling sick because mono is going around in the dormitory, then that's when they should probably increase vitamin C to bowel tolerance. So that's usually when you're going to go ahead and take, maybe say for instance 3 grams, you're fine. Then on the 4th gram, you start feeling a little bit of diarrhea or gas. That's when you've taken too much, so you want to back it up. So that's what usually with bowel tolerances. So I would recommend definitely having some vitamin C, some vitamin D on hand, making sure the college students are taking that. Talking about immune system, I forgot to mention little probiotics. Those are helping out your gut flora, and so that in itself is also going to help out your immune system. So making sure they have some probiotics on hand. And also omega-3s. Those are great because they're anti-inflammatory, but they also are going to help out the cell at the very cellular level. If we have our cells, if you're looking at them, they all have a lipid bilayer, and so we need good fats, and it's just going to help out overall. And then also some adrenal glands need some assistance, right? And so then that's when we're talking about the adaptogens, so making sure you have some adaptogens in there. And yeah, just also great snacks. So that would be my suggestion on a couple of tips that you could do or supplements that you could have on hand to help out your college student get through the school year. Thank you, and we will see you next time.